I said, where do the rebels get the guns? Where do they get the guns from? Is that being biased? I've said what Tshisekedi has said about the rebels. He said he doesn't recognize them. Am I biased? He said it. He will not talk to them. You who is speaking, do you speak to Tshisekedi? Have you met him? I meet Tshisekedi in all these peace talks. I go in those meetings. Have you ever gone to one of them? And then you come here to blame me that I'm biased, that all Congolese can boycott Matsanga's platform. Boycott. Is my country bleeding? No. Yours is bleeding. So boycott. But Matsanga will remain talking about peace. My country might lack democracy because it has got one leader throughout, but it is not fighting, and the bleeding is not taking place. There's no war in Uganda at the moment. I'm sorry. If you want me to tell you that, I'm also very proud guy. I can tell you off. So you don't come here to accuse me of bias. I'm not a Rwandese. The problems that Lukwago said here are the same problems that I've suffered. Yes. I wanted just to make Lukwago's speech very educative. It is recorded here. He put us through all the history of that region. And then he came back to say, these are the things that are happening. People went and fought in Congo territory itself. Rwanda and Uganda exchanged guns and heavy casualties in the Congo. These are intentions. These are hidden intentions, which we must bring out. So what wrong have I done to bring a topic? My co-host, you can come back. We're about to close, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to give time to Cecily. Your hand has been up for a long time. I want to put a hand, give time 1 minute to John, 1 minute and a half or 2 minutes to Cecily, 2 minutes to John, 2 minutes to Dide, and 2 minutes to Zimbabwe, this man, Zimbabwe People's Action. Every time when I call you up, you run away all the time, Mr. Zimbabwe People's Action. And MK, you didn't speak. And MK, you didn't speak. Mr. Lukena, you have spoken, and I thank you very much for telling people not to attend Matsanga's because I'm biased. So why do you want to come to speak now? Why don't you just go and sleep? Okay. And that is
thank
all.
you, Doctor.
Simon, Simon will come and finish up because he had comments to make. And let me take those ones now. Cecily, go ahead.
So thank you, Doctor. Thank you for organizing this space. And I wanted to say thank you to all the people who spoke from their hearts, because you are here to learn and also try to find a solution. I have to say I am equally pleased and equally disappointed by certain opinions, because I feel like we are focusing on the wrong angle to find a solution to a very, very complex issue. So when I was hearing, especially what Lukwago said, I was actually looking at the African map, zooming in and out and thinking, why are we, first of all, today, different ages, different backgrounds, discussing from a core point of view based on information we've been fed by people who control the narrative? Because beside you, Doctor, and other journalists who have done their own investigations, all the things we are saying right now are the things we've heard on the news, from experts, from journalists with different agendas. So I was looking at the African map and looking at the different borders where the capital cities were, and I was thinking, hang on, at some point, the whole world was made of small little tribes. Brothers were fighting brothers, and then one tribe was fighting another, and then someone invented the gunpowder. Suddenly, people became more powerful than the others. We've seen different powers go here and there. But when it comes to Africa, at some point, our fight between brothers and sisters, in-laws, and everything escalated into neighboring tribes. But then all of that was interrupted because you had a new power that came in and said, guys, from this river, that side, you one country. Let's find a common language, and we are not going to use your little language. You will speak our language, speak French, speak English, Spanish, whatever. And we are going to teach you about democracy. And by the way, you need an army. And by the way, here are schools. Forget about your gods. Here is a true God. You will pray like this, you'll speak like this, you will learn this. So I feel like we have lost ourselves. And today we are debating what I'm calling like the tiny little matters that we see in front of our eyes. We are forgetting that essentially we have forgotten who we are. And it's not time to remember who we are. It's time to step up and say, now we are global citizens. Let's have a global approach to our problems. So from everybody who spoke, we were highlighting this political party, this time in history, this and that, but we forgot one very critical fact. Eastern DRC has like 5 countries along its border. That's 5 different powers investing into education. All the things we've learned, they have decided what we should learn. All the things we are reading, they have decided what we should read. And all we know is what we learned and the tiny little conflict we've had among ourselves. So think of, let's say, Belgians, British, and I don't know, investing in different nations. Think of the names of our countries. Congo is called Congo because of the Bakongos. But there are many tribes in Congo, but somehow they have accepted their Congolese, and today they are ready to fight to protect their borders. That a Belgian king owned as a private property, killed people, committed massacres. No one wants to talk about it. We are Congolese and will defend our borders. Uganda is called Uganda because of a tribe, the Baganda. And when we think deeper, we look at the geography, it's all there. The capital cities were first near water bodies, easy transport, cheap investment infrastructure. You just needed a boat and translators, and then you can go wherever you wanted. Later on, they say, we are the borders, the Mombasas, and Tebes and whatever. Let's go a little bit in the country. But they didn't go far. And Kinshasa, by the time the same people who shade the African continent like a slice of pie, they already had like mining stuff, like the Hiroshima Nagasaki bomb was made with uranium from Congo. Back then, Rwanda wasn't even a thing. So I feel like we have lost the point. We are lost. We've been manipulated into hating each other, protecting borders and all of these things, and you have forgotten that we are in the 21st century where we need to think, whatever we think about, we need to think stability, both political and territorial. We need to think about investments. We need to think about value added to our products, because like the people who raised us, when I say the people who raised us, no one is 100 years old on this platform, which means we are all a product of whatever the colonialist wanted us to be. Today we speak their languages. Dr. David went to school in the UK. We can travel, there's transport and so on. I think it's about time we wake up. This story they have taught us about territorial integrity, patriotism. We hate that. It's like, that's nonsense. It's about time we talk about the real issues. And what are the real issues? We can hate each other as much as we like. We can blame each other as much as we like. This person will be wrong, that person will be right. But at the end of the day, what we need is long-term peace, understanding the value of what we have, and attract investments. And no one is going to invest. In fact, they even decide, like, there's so much going on. And when people say, no, who's getting guns for the M23? Everything from Eastern DRC, for everybody's information, as if it isn't so obvious, comes from neighboring countries, because it's way too far away from Kinshasa. And no one has been interested in trying to connect the West and the Eastern DRC. For obvious reasons, it's not for Congolese benefits. And when people invest, like, no one came to Africa because they loved Africans. They were tired of their own wars. They had invested heavily into their industrialization. They needed raw material, and they had made way too many guns, were way too advanced. So therefore, I think we should be careful how we look at our problems. We can talk for hours and years, but at the end of the day, today, what we need is development, peace, and unity. Now, picture an Africa, or I
You
don't know how
just,
many slides.
Madam, time.
Okay, I'm going to conclude.
Yes, thank you.
Picture a peaceful Eastern DRC where citizens are like, guys, I don't want to hear who blamed who. Let's evaluate the value of what we have in our land and who we are going to allow to exploit our war conditions. And we do not want to bank loans, because I also heard when they keep Rwanda, they put Rwanda in their voices all the time. They forget that at the same time, in the 1990s, it was the World Bank, the IMF, all of those who told the Congolese Jacquemin leaders to give away investment, to allow foreign investors to come and develop, and they had made false promises. These people came in with bank loans, not with their own cash. That caused chaos, and I believe that gave birth to the rebel groups. Because what do rebel groups do? They're human beings. They also want a beautiful life. They want to be with their children and grow up and have peace. But why do they choose rebel life? And here I'm not talking about the M23. I'm talking about the other hundreds and hundreds. They don't have better jobs. And I believe they're security guards of some mine concessions that belong to some foreign investors. That's what I think. I could be wrong. We all have our own interpretations to the situation. But to conclude, I think we can talk for months and years, but we are missing the point here. And the point is, as East Africans, we need to think like business people. We've cried for years, people have died. We need to think economics, stability, investment. Bye-bye, and thank you so much.
Madam, before you go, where are you from?
I am from Kivu, doctor. I refuse to call myself this or that because my ancestors did not decide on my borders. I am from Kivu. I grew up on both sides of it.
Okay, thank you very much. All what you have said comes back. You have talked of 5 countries bordering Congo and Eastern. Don't you think among these 5 countries, one has an ambition?
I believe among those
Because you
5
seem
countries.
to, let me finish my question. You seem to be trying to say we have not been talking to the point. But at the same time, in your own submission, you have just said it. You have just said that the 5 countries that border Congo in the eastern part of Congo. And then you have said Kinshasa in the west has done nothing to make sure the east connects to it. It is like heaven and hell. They don't know. There's a big barrier between the Kinshasa government and the eastern part of Congo. There is quite a lot. And the problem we have been solving here since 5 hours ago is when you tell the Congolese the truth, they profile you like they are profiling Kenyan troops. And they say you are with M23.
My
You see, you have seen
answer,
most of them
no,
here labeling me that I'm biased
no,
because
no,
you
no, no,
tell
no,
them the truth.
no, this is not the truth.
Kenya,
Mr.
yes,
Doctor, I'm sorry to interrupt you and to call you Mr. Doctor. I should just say doctor. So
it's okay, it's okay.
what I'm trying to say is there's been heavy, heavy foreign investments in the Eastern DRC. And I'm talking about the establishment, the bare establishment of political structures, like to start Entebbe and say, okay, all these tribes, whatever, will work with the Baganda, will teach them how to read and write, we teach them democracy, and then they will help us to to govern the rest of their fellow tribes. I think they even speak the same languages. The whole divide and rule thing. And then that was, let's say, British powers that they were in Kenya. And then in Rwanda, the Germans were replaced by Belgians, also investing heavily because you needed money to travel all the way from the coast to wherever the water bodies were. So they invested in roads, in churches, in schools, and hospitals, and all of that. All of that was heavy investment, not because they loved us so much. It was business. And when it's business, you invest, you have a return, you have a plan. So now we have the Belgians investing in Rwanda and Burundi, and they had no reason to invest in the rest of the area because they already had Kinshasa. And in Kinshasa, I don't know who had colonized Congo Brazzaville, if it was the same power, I don't know. But you go down in Tanzania and you go lower in Malawi and others, like there was heavy investment. And these people, they
Yes.
invested in our mindset. And that's what makes me cry today when I hear all our
Oh, okay.
opinions. Because
Thank you.
even
That
our
is
mindset have been manipulated, and we're looking at each other as enemies instead of understanding that we've been raised to hate each other, create chaos, so that they can get a return on the investment. As simple as
okay.
that.
Let me ask you one question before you go.
Yeah.
If the president of a country stands up in a conference before his fellow heads of state, all of us observers, some of us who are called as observers, we are seated. And the president says he is not going to talk to those people. He will not talk to them. Then you ask the question, why? He said they are not Congolese. Let them go where they belong. State. And you are hearing a president telling you. So my question is this: who are these people? Where should they go? Where can we take them?
My answer will be something I've said before. When they were slicing our continent like a slice of cake, they didn't know where the borders were. They said that river, like I was even zooming into Rwanda today, like the border between Rwanda and Burundi. It's a river, literally as stupid as that. One side of the river, this country, the other side of the river is another country. That's between Rwanda and Burundi. A river. When it branches on the other side, then it falls into Tanzania. But let's follow this stream. It will show us where Burundi starts and where Burundi ends. So when that president stands up and says what he says, again, as I said, we have been manipulated, we've been programmed to feed and waste time into minor, meaningless differences because those who invested need a return on their investment. My conclusion before you ask questions was, if one day we can stop this nonsense of patriotism, nationalism, territorial integrity, whatever they fed into us, let's take a lump of 20 tribes who can't communicate with each other and tell them they are a country and they're supposed to have an army and the government and all of that, and someone is going to mentor them into the process. Like, that's mind-boggling. They try to do it in their own countries, and they've been into wars for centuries after centuries. Even today, the Scots and the Brits, they still disagree on whether they should be part of the EU or not. And now you're telling me the Banyamulenge, the Bahunde, the Bashi, the Baganda, whatever, you can put them together and say, you're a government, there is your army, that's the minister of this and this, with no money to invest into the infrastructure and to make sure things actually work. And when you give money, it's a loan that comes with strings. They give you a loan in American dollars. You have to pay back American dollars. And the only way you can pay in American dollars is by selling your stuff to Americans. Like, in stupid terms, I'm the only one who grows sweet potatoes. And when I give you a sweet potato, you have to pay me back in a sweet potato, i.e., I need to value whatever you're giving me into the amount of sweet potatoes that are going to count as repayment to me. Like, that's a stupid system that we've been living under. But we are so obsessed with M23, the border here, they should go back to where they came from. Our presidents are not groomed or prepared to lead the countries they lead and to face the issues they face. And the young people today who are educated here and there are so overwhelmed. It's as if we are put in a box and we can only discuss what we see in the box. Yet the box is open. Open your eyes. I believe all our leaders are victims, and I believe the youth today is lazy. Lazy because we have all the tools we need to turn tables and say, hang on, guys, we forgive each other. Now let's talk business. Who actually is
Thank you.
here? Why are they here? How much do we have? What is it worth? And by the way, we need real contract. We need to be at negotiation tables. Stop blaming us as stupid people who are only interested in who's right and who's wrong. As simple as that.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much, madam, and welcome. Thank you for your good advice. It is good. I also brought the topic. You should thank me for having brought a very nice topic that has made you to talk and give
Thank
out.
you.
Yes.
I wait for a long time. Now I need to go to bed because I also have a job. I can't spend my life on Twitter. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Thank you for waiting. Thank you very much for waiting. We love to speak. We like to speak like that and go while laughing, not while having a lot of arguments and insults. And we came here to find out the solution, dissect what can be the solution for Congo tomorrow. At the end of the day, we can exchange these bad words, call each other names, biased. I'm not biased. I'm very straight, open. The topic remains there. That's why I selected it. I knew it brings a lot of outburst from people. Those who feel they have been hit by the word hidden agenda, they will come out and speak. Yes, there are some people in the region who have hidden agenda. And from this discussion here, I can tell you the hidden agenda is coming out slowly, slowly. At the end of the day, to end that war, you must give concessions. And those concessions will come and they will prove me right, that I was right when I said there is a hidden agenda why people continue to fight. So let's have Anita. Then, no, I had chosen some people. John Dide, Anita, no, Zimbabwe and Anita, and that is all. And MK, yes. MK, then Anita, you'll close it for us, please. And I hand it over to us, Anita. If there are some minutes, I'll give Mr. Simon to make one rebuttal, not a long one. But let's go in that order. John, 1 minute, please. John Mugambi. Mr. John Mugambi from Uganda. Dide.
Thank you, Dr. David, for your time and for these interesting topics. I thank each and everyone for your patience and your views. I think my hat goes to the sister that just left the floor, I believe Cecile, when she was asked to describe who she was and where she is from. She said she was from the Kivu, and I thought that was beautiful. My heart also goes to all the people that continue to find it hard to have some sort of stability. When all these wars go on, ultimately it's the people that suffer, and it's sad. And I think we should all approach everything that happens in that beautiful region, like our sister Cecile was doing it, to look at it as a human being, and approach it from that perspective. She talked about the colonialism narrative, which I found very, very interesting. I happen to share the same views, where I believe that the countries like we know them today were really a creation of foreigners, and to this day we continue to pay. We continue to evolve with that mindset, with that view, with that perspective, that some other people came and decided that this is where you guys were going to be from, and this is where the other ones were going to be from. And I think the topic really, really is interesting. As we talk about Balkanization, I was following my brother Lukwago. I think he started really very, very hard by giving a lot of historical facts, where he talked about all the cessations wars that happened in the DRC, and he talked briefly about the players in the Great Lakes region, essentially the Kivus North and South. But unfortunately, it sounded, I'm not accusing him of anything, but it sounded like he was lending the bill to a certain group of leaders. Now, I thought he would push a little bit further, but he's entitled to his own opinion. But the point of the fact is, we learned a lot and we continue to learn. Now, for me, I think that I am very close to what our sisters had talked about. I think it's useless to really try to say this person and that person have a hidden agenda. My analysis of this whole crisis that's been going on for 20, 30 years is that it's a little bit complex, right? So it's not a yes or no whether there is. I do believe that I don't think this is an elaborated agenda. I don't think few people sat down and said, you know what, we're gonna go and 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 balkanize the country. There are many things. There are many ingredients to this soup, and I believe that there are a lot of political ingredients, political unrest, ideologies. There are ethnic conflicts. There are economic. There are many of them. There are regional control, and there are also foreigners, like our sisters was talking about. I think Mr. Lukwago was by far the one that gave us historical facts, and I wanted to stop and maybe uh, pinpoint Sun City Agreement. If there was a time that this country would have been balkanized, I believe it would have been at that time, and it wasn't done, right? And maybe if I could just go back to Sun City, that happened in 2002, I believe, in April. This was in South Africa, and we had some provisions. And allow me to just be a little bit specific and talk about security, because that's what we're talking about, Balkanization. If this country was going to be Balkanized, I think that was the perfect timing to do it, and it wasn't done. And some of the provisions that were provided, at least in that agreement, that peace agreement in South Africa, we had the sharing of power. I think that was done. They created a government, 1+4, Joseph Kabila, and the 4 vice presidents. That worked out okay. 2006, we had an election that saw Joseph Kabila into power. And if you look at the other provisions, nothing really was ever done. If you're to go and analyze, and I welcome you guys I invite you guys to maybe take a look into what they had talked about then and what we continue to deal with today. They talked about security. They talked about economies. My sister was talking about integration. We have a lot of people. Let's talk. I was born in Goma. We have people that are from one side and the other. That was never our choices. I speak English today. Maybe I should be talking Swahili, right? So we need leaders that will be able to articulate the needs of the people today. And unfortunately, we're still locked into that colonialism narrative where we don't really see the needs of our people, and we are still puppets of foreign interference, and they will come and they will take whatever they have to take, and us must pay the bills of all that nonsense that will happen. And so I honestly believe that there is no Balkanization. There are different problems that we have, and leadership being one of them. We still have corruption, a lot of it that never benefits the people. We continue to have informal economies where people cannot really have structured their businesses and have the government structures that will help them thrive and get ahead. If there is, they're very little, and I don't think they're really. They had an agenda that will benefit the Africans in their majority. I think that they serve other people. So maybe I'll leave it at that. And I thank Dr. David for creating these platforms where we can discuss and we can learn a lot. But I think my sister couldn't put it any better. To think Africans, to think as brothers and sisters, to really go way before 1885. And when we start thinking that way, I think a lot of great things can come. She talked about a topic that's very important, that our political structures are really captive of the same narrative, where really between serving their own people and the foreign interferences, oftentimes they will serve foreign interferences, and it's sad, and that continues to bring chaos in the regions. Thank you very much, Dr. David, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you very much. In that order, John, are you back or you are gone?
Yes, sir, I'm back. David, Dr. David, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm sorry I could hear you a few minutes ago when you called me on, but I had something disturbing me and I needed to fix it first before I move into something else. Thank you very much. Now, my name is John and I'm speaking to you from Brussels. I live in Belgium here. The question posed tonight is whether Balkanization is a hidden agenda that is actually fading peace in DRC. My answer, straightforward, is yes. Since I have only 1 minute, I'm not going to go into the history. I will move straight to the point. Why
No,
do I believe?
John, you are a lecturer of history
Not
from a
necessarily.
university. Thank you for coming to my support. Just go ahead. You have some few minutes.
Thank you. I believe, just like the statement says, in the affirmative, we are seated in the region with a plan laid way back in 1964. Now, if you want to understand whether Balkanization will happen of the Congo, will ever happen, if you still doubt, you need to look into the Museveni NRA historical mission. You cannot answer the questions facing Congo unless you understand the crude formula the Museveni group has laid down since 1970s. Museveni had a plan to settle people of his original tribesmen. The Hima people were always nomads. They had no possession of land anywhere because they moved from place to place. They took their animals everywhere, and they were becoming a disturbance in the region. Museveni and those who believed in him designed a trick to ensure that they have control over land in the region, settle their people, and control the prosperity of the region. They want domination. The first time Museveni took power in Uganda, his immediate concern was Sudan. He succeeded in splitting Sudan into two. The Garang and the group were not powerful enough to be able to split a country in two pieces to have South Sudan. Because he believes by having South Sudan closer to Uganda, but under his control, under his arms, he has the safety, the security. And do you know what is happening in the north of Uganda? The Balalo are invading the Acholi land. They are settling in. They move with guns and their animals because they have no other space. The other spaces are full. In Buganda, Buganda is full. Ankole is full. It has been already demarcated. People have taken pieces and pieces of land. I want you to remember, people listening to me on this forum, I am not an ethnically biased person. I'm personally of Rwandan origin. I'm born in Uganda. My parents were born in Uganda. I was raised up there. But I have seen this happening under our watch. The RPA that invaded Rwanda in 1990 is an offshoot of the NRA. The same mission. They needed a base, a launch pad, and that launch pad was not going to be Uganda, it was going to be in Rwanda. So you have two fronts now invading one of the biggest countries in Africa, and that's the Congo. Balkanization will happen? Yes, it will happen. How long will it take? I don't know. How long did it take Sudan to split into two? Well, Congo is going to split. How it's going to split is going to take three different approaches. Number one, Museveni and Kagame are working closely together to achieve this objective. One, you have to subdue the people with fear. That's the tool of the war. The war is displacing the people in Eastern Congo. It is making them weaker. The same formula that worked in South Sudan. It's making people weaker. Those who would oppose are going to be denied access to any opportunities possible in their own country until they are tired. In the meantime, operation number two, you have to repopulate that area with the people that agree and believe in this particular framework. One of the speakers on this forum tonight has just mentioned that there is a good number of people now settling in North Kivu, different from the original people that were there before 1994. Well, where are they coming from? Rwanda is a very small country. Population is growing by 3% every year. Uganda the same. Where do you think that population is going to go? Somebody has to think first and make sure that something is done to raise up the population and have it settled somewhere. Congo is the only land left, fertile, sizable, reachable, and as long as you can control that eastern part, these guys are going to have the breakfast on their table. Is it going to happen? Yes. When will it happen? I don't know. How long will it take? I don't know. But I'm not so old. I'm 53 years today. It is likely to happen in my lifetime. Thank you, David. That's what I wanted to say on this forum.
Dr. David, I beg to ask a question to, if you don't mind. Has these
Go ahead.
problems, because he seems to suggest that Yoweri Museveni and Kagame, how are they doing on this HEMA plan? Because as of late, the two of them were not even understanding each other. So we tend to make a mistake that some of these leaders are also created by history. So I don't think that their agendas necessarily, if that agenda exists, I personally doubt, because if that agenda existed, they would get along very well and they would do exactly as you say. And if they had that agenda, why did they fight in the DRC? So there are so many questions that we can ask ourselves,
Okay.
and it's unfortunate that as a professor you give us that view. Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm given time, I can respond.
Respond. You'll save me from responding.
In every long-term goal, there are hiccups, there are ups and downs, there are falls and risings. Usually, it is because some of the elements in the forces used by these two guys are highly excited. Now, the fighting in Kisangani 1 and 2, I was personally in the region and I was operating as a journalist. So I know firsthand what was going on. It was mistakes by the commanders. Both times. But actually, the overall objective was the same. These guys needed control over the fourth piece of land of Congo, and they needed to make as much money as possible to finance the war. And this was the talk. We need the war to finance itself because their economies would have crashed. So fighting was there, but not because of the big top brass that we are disagreeing. The recent disagreement, already Mr. Lukwago has just pointed it out. He said, well, it's not about, it was not about Museveni supporting Kayumba Nyamwasa, whatever the theory that was part. No, it was about economy. Both countries, Uganda and Uganda, are exporting a lot of gold. In fact, gold is the second biggest export commodity in Uganda. But we don't have so many mines. We don't have so much to export in form of gold. Where is that gold coming from? So the division
Professor,
of the
but
wealth,
how are they doing on the HEMA plan?
Caused problems at that point. But the overall goal remained the same. Control this peace, let's settle our people, and let's have them settled so we can control the wealth of the region. That's the goal, that's the purpose. It's not going to change, and Balkanization is going to happen. You like it or not.
Doctor, if I may say something to Dr. Masang, if I may say something to Mr. John, actually, I thank you. Mr. John, I thank you so much, but you've so much hyped Mr. Museveni. He has no capacity to control South Sudan. Okay?
Thank you, Lukwago.
He has no capacity to control DRC. Okay? And as of now, we are seeing a backlash regarding the issue of Bararo in northern Uganda.
I didn't
they are expelling them out.
I said he has a wish.
Let me conclude. You are going to respond. Mr. John, yes. You are going to conclude. Because we are seeing Mr. Garanga being killed. Correct. Mr. Museveni had not that capacity to do so. Because Garanga had opposed the dividing of Sudan into two countries. Okay? We are seeing backlash from DRC because for them they thought that they would dominate. And we are also, we in Uganda, a certain tribe that was imposed onto us is also facing a backlash. That means the so-called domination is at the vengeance of collapsing anytime from now. You are seeing Bobby Wine meeting in NATO what? You are seeing Bobby Wine in Ukraine. You are seeing Bobby Wine. So he's enjoying that leverage Mr. Museveni used to enjoy. So what I'm meaning that Mr. Museveni and Kagame have been enjoying the support of those Western powers. The support Kenya is enjoying today over Uganda from the Western power used to be for Mr. Museveni. Are you aware of that?
I agree. Yes. I agree.
Even one US president praised them as the two democratic presidents on the block. Today they are no more.
The new breed of African leaders. Yeah, I remember that.
USA supported Mobutu, but within a blink of an eye, it used Mr. Kagame and Museveni to deal with the Mobutu. So, anytime from now, expect the unexpected.
Mr. Lukwago, yourself suggested that Mr. Museveni and Kagame were the one destabilizing the Congo. So that's a contradiction to your
No. You get it clear. Mr. Museveni and Mr. Kagame are being used by international key players that I mentioned. European Union, United Nations, United States of America.
I think, excuse me, I think Mr. Dr. Matanga, we cannot come here. We appreciate the topic. We cannot come here and just be coached on helter-skelter by uninformed people, and you want us to attend to this, and we don't have a right of reply. This is unacceptable, my friend.
But you want to reply now? Reply.
Let me wind up.
Thank you very much.
Lukwago,
my brother, be humble. Be humble. This is just
I don't need a lecture from you, Lukwago.
For you are used to that arrogance, and it is the reason as to why we are putting you down.
Okay. Lukwago and Simon. What's the problem? Lukwago finish and Simon.
Yes. This is just a mere discussion. Our brothers and sisters, be humble. Desist from that arrogance and pride. It is no longer holding any sort. Okay. Why is Mr. John at 50 years can listen to me? But for you, whom I would expect to be my age mate, you are always on attack. You can no longer muffle us. Okay? You deliberately denied us a chance to go to quite education. Our odds to challenge you. Get that to know. So, accept a fair debate. Let us discuss ideas, but not mere attacks. I'm with Dr. David Masiang.
Okay.
Are you better than Dr. Masiang? Yeah. So, Mr. John, as I conclude, whatever Mr. Museveni has been doing and President Kagame, they have been enjoying favors from United States of America and UK. And they are shifting from them. That's why they made Kenya the overseer of East African community and beyond. Uganda would be the command of the East African regional force. But why? Mr. John ask why. So anytime from now, Mr. Museveni and Kagame are no more. Get it from me, and the Balkanization will never happen. Those people want Congo in that way to easily route its minerals, the global powers. Thank you so much, Dr. Masiang and Mr. John.
Mr. Lukwago, before you conclude, do you think their like if you were to give them a scorecard, do you think they've been complete failures or they've done some progress on the economic, security, and other areas. Those two.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, whom are you? Whom are you?
Sorry, Dr.
Whom
David.
are you discussing? Are you discussing Museveni and the?
Yeah, that was my question to Dr.
Kagame, or you are
Lukwago, because
Actually, when it comes to the economy, I allow me to say that they have failed, because Dr. Masanga is here. During Mr. Obote's reign, this man from Singapore, Professor Lee Kuan Yew, came to Uganda and was partly amused by the development in Uganda. Okay? Uganda was 10 times more developed than Singapore. Dr. Masanga can attest to that because he used to be with me.
Of DRC Congo. I think
Dr. David is right. We should yield to the
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can I make my point?
Let's not.
Can I make just to make? Yes.
Museveni and Kagame. That's another topic of another day. You're asking too many. You're operating like KBG. Sorry. The KGB. I am here.
Okay.
The gist of our okay.
Dr. David, because I'm not.
Can I just make my point and finish? Kindly.
I'm from the region, and I want peace, and I want to be enjoying my people, but it hasn't happened.
It's just that now.
I thought it was my son.
And I yield.
Who?
To you,
say your name. Because
it's
I
Simon.
Can't see you.
It's Simon.
Okay,
it's Simon.
Didi. I'm speaking from Canada.
Simon.
Yes.
Simon. Can you go ahead?
Yes, Dr. Matsanga, let me quickly say that I once again thank you for organizing very valuable spaces with meaningful causes. But I must register this disappointment that for the last space and this one, I have felt very uncomfortable about Lukwago, my brother Lukwago. You are not a better Ugandan than I am, for your information. Number two, there are a few friends I'm afraid
discuss
they have
Lukwago. Discuss your issues.
No,
do not
I
discuss
just want,
me.
I want to say something. It is I'm only on Balkanization, but I'm only
stick on Balkanization.
Then don't interrupt me, please. Please.
Lukwago, respect me, my brother. Let you say.
Doctor, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Doctor, I'm so sorry. But let him focus on the topic.
You know, yes. I had banned on my platform. I had banned to hear those names of Museveni and Kagame and this. I had banned it. You remember? Lukwago, you remember? I didn't want anybody to come here to speak about any sitting president of Africa on my platform, because I am one of the oldest people, oldest opposition leaders, older than Besigye. Older than Besigye. I'm 68. I started opposing Museveni when Besigye was eating with Museveni. But I'm not very angry like some of you people. I want to warn you Ugandans on this platform. I have been with President Museveni against some of his policies for a longer time than even Besigye. And I want you to take note of that. But I'm not as angry as you people Ugandans. When you come on a platform, you come to hammer you land on it, your president, there you are. You put him out in the middle, eat him. I passed that stage. because I've suffered enough. 38 years in exile is enough for me to learn new things. When I was in exile, Besigye was a minister of state for internal security, arresting us, issuing warrants of arrest for us. Where is he now? Where is he? Where is he? He's in opposition.
Opposition.
So learn.
Opposition. Mm.
Yes. Learn. Learn. Simon Lukwago, my Ugandan people, learn. This world at times is not our home.
Exactly.
If I tell you the people basically detained in 1985 as a Minister of State for Security, you will not want to look to talk to him. But look at where we are today. I am here, a living memory, whose government was overthrown in 1985, 27th Saturday morning, 10 o'clock by General Tito Okello. I left Uganda. I've lost my father, my wife, and other things. But that is life. I've never buried them. That's life. So don't come here and then, you see, start Ugandans yourselves, start knocking each other. I am a Ugandan elder. Now, when I see two of you Ugandans and I've given you platform, I feel ashamed. You know?
Yes, Doctor. Let him focus
so please,
on the
no,
topic.
Lukwago, listen, I feel ashamed. So that next time, let's talk. Let's educate. You did a good paper which educated us historically. Simon was here, allowed him to speak. And I told him I would give you a chance to speak again. But don't now narrow this issue to you into a Ugandan ping pong. No. The question is there. Let people make judgment. Is it Balkanization? Is it hidden? Is it a hidden? At the end of the day, even the Bazungu had a hidden agenda. Yes, so many people have said Belgium wanted to Balkanize Katanga province to be their home. The Bazungu had an agenda to Balkanize Congo. What makes it different today? That they cannot have and pay people to Balkanize it. Say, please, Simon.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
Lukwago,
Dr.
keep
Matanga,
quiet.
just a quick one.
Yes.
Just a quick
Simon,
one.
keep quiet.
I'm only saying...
Lukwago, just take your seat and listen to what Simon is saying. And don't attack each other. Attack each other in your DM quietly and tell Lukwago, please, you know, I have not been in Uganda, so I don't know what difference has arisen between you people for a long time. Thank you, Simon.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. We really appreciate and take note. Let me go straight to Balkanization. I must say, initially I didn't exhaust my arguments, but I must thank the audience that most people spoke to the facts that I was about to raise. And for me, still I emphasize that whether Balkanization or not, it boils down to the responsibility of the Congolese government. If the Congolese government will reorganize governance systems, reestablish institutions, improve efficiency, remove conditions that nurture Balkanization, we won't see Balkanization. So that's where I depart from the other arguments and narratives that point to the possibilities of external influence in bringing about Balkanization. I completely refuse those. I don't see them. I've been to Congo. Let me make it for a record that from 28th of October last year to 6th of April, I have made 6 trips to different parts of Congo and especially in the east. So I have interviewed FDLR captives. I have spoken to MONUSCO. I have spoken to Congolese soldiers. I have spoken to the rebels. For your information, even when Dr. Matanga invited me on this space, I shared it out to Bisimwa, the president of M23, and the spokesperson whom we met on the 4th of November in Bunagana and interviewed them. These don't speak Kinyarwanda, for instance. So for me, the Congolese government has all it takes to reinvigorate themselves and remove all the conditions that provide platform for these other agitations that lead to Balkanization. If they do well, we won't see Balkanization. In any case, we are not interested in Balkanization. I would rather have Congolese government becoming efficient, organizing inter-Congolese dialogue, sharing resources equitably, settling societal links, and eventually establishing a federated system, or they establish devolution that works for all. And that's how even the eastern part of our region can benefit. For instance, from Katanga up to Kisangani and Isiro, from Lubumbashi, Kikwiti, Likasi, all these areas that I have always visited, they depend on Dar es Salaam and Mombasa port. These ports handle about 46% of the Congolese imports to Eastern Congo. Eastern Congo is a food basket of the entire Congo. Even the Kivu you see, that is the part that feeds Kinshasa literally. And that's why even the other rebels other than M23 cannot leave those parts of Kivu, because that's where they get food, that's where they get milk, they get meat, they kill people's livestock. And this is the same things that feed Kinshasa. So are you saying, should we say Congo does not, is this a region to ignore? No. And that's why we are saying the Congolese government should take serious the efforts by the East African community and seize the opportunity to involve them, because they are interested in a more stable Eastern Congo than, organizing those Balkanization theories. You see, we are only behaving like fortune tellers. These are far-fetched studies. What can Rwanda and Uganda do in Eastern Congo? These are very irrelevant and old-fashioned theories. It's impossible. So they cannot be providing forces to stabilize the Congo, and they are doing all it takes to have Eastern Congo stable, so they can, even business can thrive. And then you say they are doing it, to resettle, to settle people who are foreigners. Where will they get these people from? They are Congolese refugees in millions who are in exile. If this party is stable, they will go back and settle. And these are Rwandophones. Others are in Ituri and wherever, and they speak the same languages as in Uganda. Others speak Kinyarwanda. That doesn't make them foreigners. And that's why I differ with my friends Azor and the other gentleman who calls himself unbiased, who actually should take the name of biased, because he's biased. So Congo is not an island. Congo is not an island. That's why we are all concerned. That's why Mr. Matanga puts his life on the line, speaking out for Africa. If we are here, let's speak Pan-Africanism. Let's not, we are ourselves, we are just echoing Balkanized languages. So how can we speak out to the powers that be about unity of Africa when we are already Balkanized ourselves? Somebody chooses, to call others Rwandese because you have a problem with Rwandese. Yes, what's wrong with Rwandese? Rwandese have an interest in Congo, but Rwanda has recused themselves from the participation of East African standby force, which Congo wanted. The Rwanda agreement, which people mistaken that, you know, was signed on behalf of M23 between Rwanda and DRC, that's not true. People should go and read the mandate of ICGRR. The 6-point Rwanda roadmap shows nowhere that Rwanda was representing M23. These are obligations of the partner states under ICGRR and Peace and Security Commission of the African Union. So the other armed groups, including M23, were supposed to heed to what the heads of state have agreed. And that's how they were supposed to disarm, which M23 literally has done. Because they held the territory, they have handed over territory, they have seized the fire. But you know, when it reached to the part of the government, you know, to participate in dialogue, they don't want dialogue. That's a responsibility of the government. That, you know, cultivates a condition for Balkanization. So in my view then, to land, in my view, if the government determines to work hard, reorganize administration, remove conditions that provide for Balkanization, we won't see that. We don't have to speculate because we do not have evidence. That's where I depart from John's narrative and Lukwago's narrative. If the government continues to fail, like they are doing now, not doing enough, then we should not even ignore what is happening in the other parts of Congo that I initially said. You see, Balkanization is actually being promoted by the government itself owing to their failures. So it's not externally orchestrated, in my view, because the government of Congo is a sovereign. They are a state actor against non-state actors. They can determine who they want to work with, either about their resources, who they want to trade with, but they can't wish away the neighbors. These people, the population in the Eastern Congo depends entirely on Eastern Africa. So it's not an island, they cannot isolate their people. That's where where the whole thing goes wrong. They can only decide to choose partners who make sense, who add value to them, to the progress of their country. But you know, you cannot kill people, you cannot organize groups, you have 260 groups, you have denied the people their citizenship, you have a parliament, a bloated government and parliament. Almost 65 cabinet ministers, you have 500 parliamentarians, you have 109 senators, all those cannot even move and go to the ground and organize inter-community discussions and find out and, you know, work for the people. They only sit there and enact exclusionary citizenship laws which exclude other people, and they are working out a legislation, you know, to incorporate other armed groups which are supposed to be disarming, created by the generals, the politicians, to exploit minerals.
Okay. Are you Congolese or no? Are you Congolese?
So my point is, the government, I'm not a proponent of Balkanization, as I said. We want a stable Congo. But you know, Congo cannot.
Are you Congolese or
no? Congo cannot purport to be, you know, working for Congo and then they externalize their obligations. It's impossible. If we are to assist Congo, we must assist them to build the capacity and be objectively working for their people, unify the people. But you know, it's not to create Balkanization themselves and want to externalize it. I rest my case. And lastly, Mr. Matanga, Dr. Matanga, I really thank you for this. But I also propose that these arguments, pettiness that we bring on this meaningful platform, are tantamount to really discrediting your platform and with your profile and the effort you put
Don't say that.
You know, speaking for Africa. Let's get more.
Hey, he created this platform by himself. He didn't make him to make this platform.
Hey. Simon, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Don't be like Emperor Nero.
Simon, that is very wrong.
Emperor Nero asked the mother that I see people praying in Rome and looking up in the sky. What do they look up in the sky? Then the mother said, this is a new group that has arrived in the Roman Empire. The mother said, I also attend one of their sessions. So Emperor Nero told the mother to bring this new group that took over from the old group that used to look at the stars. And they said that star far there is the best star. It is going to bring sunshine. That one there will bring this. So what Emperor Nero did, Simon, is to order the burning of Rome. He ordered, when he saw, after the Christians prayed, and nothing came. He lost one war. The barbarians were heading down towards the Roman Empire. Then he said, I think these guys, there is something missing between here and the sky. He ordered for burning, to burn Rome, to set fire on the entire Roman Empire, that Rome city. So, Simon, don't be Emperor Nero. We have discussed, there is no pettiness here. For you and I, we have gone to colleges where we have excelled with our professions. Other people have come here with their professions. My platform was to have views as a researcher, and my people are here who have gathered the views so that tomorrow we bring out a paper to the world. I put a paper to President Kenyatta, who is the mediator for the African, East African community. I say, these are some of the pointing, the burning issues. We are looking at the burning issues. How do we get peace here? So at times you give room to people to do what they feel they can. If you squeeze them, you become Emperor Nero. So let's not burn even the little that we have, because the sky and the smoke never reached there. Emperor Nero turned on the mother and killed the mother. He's the only emperor who killed the mother after the smoke not reaching the sky. You can conclude the rest. I teach a bit of European history and I don't like it. So thank you very much, Lukwago. And,
yes, actually, Doctor, I wanted Mr. Simon to educate me on this.
Not
and thank
now.
You for that.
But not
but
now.
Let me ask it. Let me ask
you think
it
other
again.
people wanted to speak, Lukwago?
Doctor, I understand, but Mr. Simon said something that was so interesting. And by the mere fact that he's so well versed with Democratic Republic of Congo, Doctor, at one time, M23 soldiers had agreed to be integrated into the DRC army. But upon telling them that they were not to be deployed within their areas of birth, many chose to run away from the army. What caused that? And what is his view on General David Muhoozi's statement that they want to have control over certain areas within Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo? He said that on NTV on the spot with Mr. Patrick Kamara.
Lukwago, now Simon is not the spokesman for General Muhoozi.
I just want his view.
Anyway, I followed it, Dr. Matanga. I followed his interview. Just 1 second. I will use a second. First of all, what General Muhoozi said was in regards to the incursions of ADF. And he said They have interest in the nearest parts of Eastern Congo, which are controlled by ADF. And he was trying to explain, that is ordinarily their area of interest. So they are much interested. They need to control, to dominate that area by surveillance, or under the arrangement of the bilateral agreement with Congo, they need to flush out to those people. But he didn't mean really to occupy those areas. I think it was quoted out of context. I followed it very well. And I know it has reverberated so much. Because of the sensitivity of the relationship of these two countries and Eastern Congo, everything at times is blown out of context. But I wanted to clarify that. I followed it, and that is exactly what he meant. Lastly, for the M23, which is saying that, they refused to integrate, those are the same contradictions between them with the government. You see, the government of Congo, as I said, is a sovereign. They can choose to say.
Dr. David, you were speaking. What were you saying?
Thank you very much, Devon. Simon was making a point clarification from, but now let's move to other people. You have decided to make my night longer, and Devon, when you want to jump out, you tell me, but you hold on, we're about to finish. There are people here who have just come whom I want. There is an expert, security expert in the region. One security expert, and Anita first. Then the security expert, sir. Hold your fire. Then Mr. Bijo. I would want to hear your voice. Then a lady called Sama Saluma. I also want to hear your voice. So those four, we close down and go home. Mr. Security Expert, Jean-Luc. Yes.
My name is Jean-Luc, and the capital of DRC. I heard you were saying, or I think somebody was saying here, first of all, sorry for my English. I'm not an English speaker, so I'll try to do my best. I'm asking my apologies. I'm presenting my apologies if some of my words doesn't seem to be clear. There is no distance between Kinshasa and the east of the DRC. The east of the DRC has always been, considered like the agricultural breakfast, the agricultural bread basket of the country. We shouldn't confuse things. What we do have right now, we do have rebels who are destabilizing the country, and some of people are not trying to speak about a project of Balkanization, which will not happen actually, because I've heard certain people were saying that it will happen, but we are all free to express our point of view. On my point of view, I don't think that Balkanization will happen. M23 is supported by Rwanda. That has been proved. We do have an international report on that, and even His Excellency, the President of Rwanda, mentioned many times that he needs to try to put order in DRC in terms of identifying FDLR and neutralizing them. There's one thing that I would like to mention. It's true that the Congo, and especially the army, is being rebuilt. It is true that there are management flaws in DRC, as there are everywhere else in the world. However, this does not give anybody the right to claim anything. It's not because DRC has got some management problems that rebel should appear and try to destabilize. It's not because DRC got some management problem that a country like Rwanda will try to destabilize. No, the Kenyan friends came I'm talking about the East Africa Force, with the ambition to help the country. But it seems that it was not really the case. And the Congo government decided to, as they've been welcoming them, to ask them on a diplomatic way to go back to their country. The real problem that we do have there on that part of the country, I always say that it comes from international people. They are making us fighting together for no reason, Because if you go far in the past, you will notice that nobody was fighting there. There was peace. I've been in Virunga Park in 1987. Very lovely, very peace, very quiet, very beautiful place. No even the smell of war. Let us not forget that the main problem of the DRC was born when DRC granted its solidarity to Rwanda by welcoming refugees, which is without any doubt caused many Rwanda to end up in DRC, which is not bad. There's no problem on that. Rwanda can come in DRC and live and stay. Congolese can also go to Rwanda living and staying. They call it immigration. There's no problem on that. But the problem is when some people come in the country and say after a certain time, I'm no more Rwandan, I'm Congolese. Based on what? Also, the international community must be fair and equitable. The war in Ukraine suggested that African states in general and DRC Congo in particular do not seem to benefit from the same treatment in the event of foreign interference and aggression. African states have come together unanimously to condemn Russian aggression. But now we do have a Rwandan aggression, and nobody is saying that. It has been proven. I'm not the one who's saying that. It has been proven in international documents, report of investigations, that Rwanda is deeply involved on the instability of the country, of DRC. That does not come from me. The debate is no more there. Why am I saying that, Dr. David? I'm saying that because we need to identify the problem. We need to condemn the problem, and we need to resolve the problem. Those are three different things. Any guilty absence of it's like a tacit complicity. President Kagame's regime is extremely destabilizing the region. Myself, and I'm telling you, I grew up. I used to say that to many spaces. I grew up with Rwandese people without any problem. I have some Rwandese friends without any problem. So if we put in mind Balkanization, it will really have a negative impact in Africa. Remember, we used to say Africa units, together as one. Let's focus on what will make us build a best life, a better continent. So now, people shouldn't come here and say that it's because DRC government got lack of management, because anyway, suppose that DRC government got lack of management, it doesn't mean that some people should benefit on it and take advantage trying to destabilize it. No, not at all. Not at all. We need to work on that. We need to respect each other. The narrative is changing slowly. Hutu, who are in DRC, want to go back safely and quietly in their own country. That is also one of the main issues that need to be solved. So I won't take longer. I want to talk to my Rwandan brothers and sisters. There's many kind of Rwanda, and all Rwandan are not all together on the back of President Kagame. No, there's many Rwandese who are against President Kagame politics. It's for the stability of the continent that we need to seriously help DRC to be in peace, for sure. DRC also needs to help by itself. Yeah, I agree on that. But we need to equitably see things as they are and try to fix them properly. I hope I made myself clear, and sorry again for my English. Thank you, Dr. David.
Thank you very much. While you are there, before you go, I want to find out what is wrong with the Kenya's East African Stabilizing Force. What has made the government of Kinshasa to tell Kenyans to leave? Why? How shall we get this region stable if every force that comes there is told to go? Briefly.
Okay, Dr. David, when somebody comes in your house or whatever you're doing and asks come to help you, it depends on you. Either you accept, either you refuse, and you can even accept, and after a certain time you refuse it. The DRC government has considered that the Kenyan force seems to be more closer to M23. That point one. And 1.2, it looks like the Kenyan troops were supposed to fight against whoever will try to destabilize. At the time that they were there was still movement of M23. And the Kenyan troop didn't condemn that and didn't take any action. You see, those are the kind of things that made the DRC government unhappy and decided to just say thank you to them and ask them to go back to their country. I hope I've answered you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can you kindly DM me? I will share the ECRAF, the regional force SOFA. You read and tell us next time where that is documented. It's good we speak with facts.
I can't believe this man, this lawyer. Lawyer, send those documents to me.
I will, obviously. I have a number of them. I'm going to share them out to the doctor. Yes, I will.
Simon, send those documents to me. Hey, you can see these things. Send those documents to me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting late, but we have to finish the work and conclude nicely so that this video is captured very well. It will be looked at by UN, by AU, by IGAD. The proposals we have put forward here are not just going to enter here. So don't think when you speak here, it's going to stop here. It is going to so many other people. People are looking at our place, at our advice. What can we do? What views have we brought? Anita from Uganda. Let's hear the voice of a lady. Then we come and hear Salama Salam, Sama Saluma. We'll hear from you after. I believe you are from Sudan, and I'm very impressed with. I think that is Sudan. Yes, I believe so.
Yes, I'm from Sudan.
You talk to me after Anita. You talk. Let the two ladies do the job. Women, we have talked. We have been labeled. You know, let me tell you, Lukwago and Simon and others here on the platform, when we were solving the Eritrea and Tigray and Ethiopia, I was again singled out and they said I was favoring Tigray. People were on my neck with the, they said I and Wandera, we are on the side of Tigray, because I simply said I worked with Mr. Zenawi in the same office. I worked with Mr. Isaiah Efaki when I was the chairman of Uganda Community Relief Association in London in 1987. They were chairman and vice chairman of Ethiopia Relief Association. When I said that, the Ethiopians said that I am Tigray. So it all went, but I finished the peace process thanks to President Uhuru Kenyatta, former president of Kenya. We finished the process, and Ethiopia is to. So I'm used to these accusations. And thank you very much, Anita. Take the microphone. Anita, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Matsang. The space has been quite interesting. I decided this time around to follow
We
it
can't hear you.
You're not getting
Okay.
me at all?
Anita, as you arrange your microphone,
But I'm speaking.
Let's hear from.
Oh no.
Let's hear from let's hear from Sama Saluma. Thank you.
So sorry, is
At the moment I'm not
Anita
adding
speaking?
anybody else again. We're about to close.
Was Anita trying to speak?
My co-host, don't add in
Yeah,
many
I
people
was
again.
trying to
Or
speak. I don't know whether
the
no one
only
is
person
getting
who has
me
been
at all.
constant here is Zimbabwe. But when you put him on the microphone, he doesn't. Sama Saluma, please, from Sudan.
Our brother from Zimbabwe is not speaking?
You have the microphone.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga. And
Delon.
you know, when I read this space title, is Balkanization the hidden? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. David Matsanga.
Are we hearing each other? Yes.
Yes, we are. We definitely are.
Sama Saluma.
Can you hear me?
We are waiting for you to speak.
Yeah, she's speaking. Let her speak.
You
can
seem
you
to
hear
be
me
having
speaking?
problems.
Yes,
with
we
your
do,
internet.
Sama. Sama, can you continue?
Yeah, sure. So when I read the title, so thank you for the space. When I read the title is Balkanization, the hidden agenda that fails peace in DRC. The first thing I thought to myself is I can replace DRC
okay, let's have Mwalimu. Let's have Mwalimu.
Speak. She's speaking. We can hear. Alma, speak.
Mwalimu,
we can hear
now?
her.
Yes, I'm speaking. Dr. Matsanga, Can you hear me?
I think
Dr. David Matsanga, can you hear me? I think his problem with his audio.
Zimbabwe?
So, Deoland, can you message him maybe, or?
Yeah, I will try to remove myself from here and.
You are where?
Can you hear us, Dr. David Matsanga?
I can't hear you. Are you talking to them?
I think Sama should continue speaking and then someone else should speak and someone should DM Dr. Matsang and let him know of what is happening.
Yeah, I think some trouble with his
Ladies and
audio.
gentlemen, Anita, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Dr. Matsang, but
Anita, can you speak now?
I think Dr. Matsang has a problem with his network. Maybe Sama, you can continue, then I'll come in after you. I'm going to send him a message letting him know that we are hearing him.
Okay, sure.
Platform is Salma. Salma, are you there? Salma. Okay, speak, and I hear you. I can't hear you. You are hearing me, but I am not hearing any of you.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think the platform says I should come to a conclusion. And maybe Radio Punchline, give us one number of Tanzania. Is Salma talking?
Yes, I'm speaking.
Oh, no, I can't hear what Salma is talking about.
Anita, do you want to speak?
Yes, I would like to speak, but I do not know how this is going to work because the host is not getting us at all. I don't know whether we can continue without him. I do not know because I have sent him a message telling him that we are hearing him, and I even told him that you are speaking. So probably he's trying to sort out his network issues. But the co-host, I think Radio Punchline should get in touch more with him and tell him what is on ground. And as we continue, I do not know how you see that.
Yeah, I agree with you because I'm a little bit confused actually because he can hear you, but he can't hear me.
Dr. Matsang, I think you should continue and speak, and then I'll go in after you. And then I think he will get out and come back since he already has co-hosts.
It looks like my co-host is the one up here disappearing with the mic. Now you have come back, the mic has come back. Thank you. I can hear you. Who was speaking?
Yes, Dr. David. Yes, we thought we lost you for a second.
So you could hear me. I'm gonna drop down.
Salma,
can you hear me?
Your
can
voice,
you hear me?
From
can you
Sudan?
hear me?
We can hear you perfectly well, Sama. Do you want to continue?
I can. It's just that Dr. Matsanga he interjects because he can't hear me. So I'm just concerned that we're gonna get into this back and forth situation if he can't hear. Dr. David, can you hear me? Yeah, he can't hear me.
I can't hear Salma.
Okay. Anita, why don't you go ahead and then maybe hopefully by then the
Salma
audio
speaking. Why am I being blocked from hearing from Sudan?
Sudan, I don't know. Maybe something to do with our generals. Something. They don't want you to hear our ideas in Sudan.
My co-host,
Dr. David.
They don't want you getting any ideas from us.
Yes, Dr. David.
I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
I hear you, yes, but not Salma. There's a gentleman who was speaking. Who was that?
Salma, you can go down and send the request.
Yeah, let me exit and come back. Okay.
Please, Salma, do that. I would like to hear from you. Yes. And send the request.
So should I speak or I also have to go down and come back up?
Oh, she's gone off completely. And Anita, can you be heard?
I do not know. Does the co-host hear me or she also doesn't get me? Because I would like to speak.
I can hear you, Anita.
Okay.
I can hear you very well.
Then I think I'm going to speak. I do not know about Dr. Matsang.
I can't hear anything. Let me keep
quiet.
Dr.
David, can you hear me?
I hear you very well. but I can't hear the other guests.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
Would you like me to? Okay, I'm gonna mute everyone. Unmute. Anita, can you say something and see if we can hear you?
Okay, I am here. Are you getting me?
Dr. David, can you hear Anita?
No, I can't hear. Okay, thank you very much. I think if we go on like this, we might lose the platform without saying bye-bye to all of us. Let's do the ceremony. Delon Africa, I think, conclude the show now. Conclude from your side, then I conclude from my side. It is 10 minutes past 1 o'clock in London and 10 minutes past 3 o'clock in East Africa, and at 8 to 10 a.m. in South Africa. It's too late. We want to thank you all for all this. Delon, can you say some words, closing remarks, please?
Yes, thank you, Dr. David Matanga. We have definitely been here for a few hours, but I would like to thank each and every one of you guys ladies and gentlemen, for participating and contributing to the platform this evening. For those of you that have stayed up and listened in, we appreciate you. For those of you that have contributed, we also appreciate you. And we hope that we'll definitely be able to collaborate with each and every one of you guys in the near future. There will definitely be a chance for us to speak over different platforms soon again. However, it is late and we are always congested with time, or limited with time. Sorry for that. We're always limited with time with these platforms. But unfortunately, we all have personal lives and things to adhere to. So I wish you guys a safe evening, safe morning to some of you guys, and may you all have a blessed week. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. My co-host, Radio Punchline co-host in Nairobi. Play us one number of Tanzania to send us off. Then I make my remarks. Or let me play that number first. Are you able? That's the only way to know whether I'm are you there, Stephen? Stephen?
Stephen?
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, all things come to an end. Good things come to a close. Bojo, I know you are not happy. You are not happy. Okay, Bojo, what do you want to say? Bijo.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Dr. Machanga. So I get chance to speak finally. Finally, I got chance to speak through your space. So I just want to remind people here, brother and sister from all over Africa. That was 1996 before the war started in Congo. So I went to visit my uncle that was in Mwanda. My uncle actually was working with Chevron Texaco, that's an oil company, a way before FDL wars to start in Congo. So the so-called liberation war. So we have one of white guy working, with Chevron Texaco, that the oil company from United States. He publicly was telling us. So this is the Congo. Actually, that was Zaire. Zaire is too big for black guy to govern. We need to help you to balkanize the country. That's gonna help like every piece, it's gonna be like 3 or 4 pieces, and then a black guy can govern properly. That was even before the war. So that's something I wanted to raise here, everybody to know about. We have a teacher, we have a doctor, we have a researcher. You can go ahead. It's like a homework. Go through that. And then another thing I wanted to say from my sister from South Africa. So if you have a load shedding in South Africa, you just know Rwanda government, with its army, they attack the Western Congo. They went to shut down the hydroelectrical power. That power that can power today or tomorrow all Africa. Even the power was coming from Congo to South Africa. They damaged that. That was in 2000. So we have a lot to say about this. And then all I will ask for our brother and sister from Africa, like John, right? Like John and brother Lukwago. Thank you. We need to come together to speak up. We need to come together. Everybody should come together. We need to speak up against all this happening in the Congo. And then to say no to Kagame and Mugabe. Everybody should say no, please. We need peace. Land is not a solution. The solution is we need to make a business as a people, working together to raise Africa. That's what I want to say. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. David, can you give me 1 minute?
Who is this?
XP.
No, I've given you a lot of time, SP. I'm going.
Just 1 minute.
I just want to summarize, and we close.
Yeah.
We don't want to open a debate anymore.
No. It's just some advice for our people.
Yeah, there are so many comments of a gentleman like Anna Biased, who has said we are foreigners. We shouldn't speak about Congo. All this. We are all Africans. Then if we are foreigners, why do you cry? Why are you crying everywhere? Tell your president to go and cry in the toilet if he wants. Rubbish. We are not crying for anything from you. You are the ones crying for help because your country is under siege. So we are not foreigners. We are Africans, brother. Don't call us foreigners. We are Africans. Call Bazungu, who colonized you, who taught you, assimilated you to speak French, and you are trying to speak English. Go and blame them, not to blame Matanga. Every time when Congolese are fixed, they blame other people. That's the blame you have, even in London. I work with some of them. When you find him on a job, I gave 4 of them a job in when they came after Congo went to chaos. They blame you. They eat the money. Then they come and they say, "Oh, my money is finished. Can you lend me money?" Don't do that, and you will never appear anywhere near my platforms. You are just a very no. It's not very good. You can't write such statements on a person who has done nothing. I put up this program for us to to discuss things about Congo, but the type of language you have written here, as if we are the ones fighting in Congo, no, it's not very good. But thank you very much for the language. You have missed coming to any of my platforms in the future. because you don't feed me and I don't feed you.
That's
So,
right.
thank you. I work for my living. I don't steal diamonds from Congo.
I thought you were gonna give me 30 seconds.
Okay, you are given 30 seconds, Mr. XP.
Yeah, I really thank you for this platform. But I want to tell you, my people, Congolese, don't be extremism like this. If anybody you don't have a same opinion, it doesn't mean like he's supporting enemies. Uh, like a lot of Congolese, they just see because we are Banyamulenge or Tutsi, and they think all of us we supporting Kagame. Kagame he manipulated a lot of Bantu, but Tutsi, Banyamulenge, we all belong us there, but we have to understand how we're gonna fight for our own right as Congolese. Don't just blame these people because they look like Tutsi, or they are like they're supporting like Kagame. Kagame he have been killing all of us. He didn't choose to other Congolese he killed. Let's sit down and try to solve our own problem. Don't just judge people like only like the way he look. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm unfortunate I didn't hear Anita's voice. Can I hear your voice again, Anita and Salma?
I am here.
Anita,
Everyone else can hear me apart from you, and I
I
think
tell
it's still
you,
going to be the same problem
Darren,
even
you are
when
hearing
Salma
Anita, but
speaks.
I can't hear her.
Is the co-host hearing me? Because
I can hear
before she
you,
was hearing me.
Anita. Dr. David, can you hear Anita?
No. Okay. Thank you very much. As all of you, ladies and gentlemen, we have been here for almost 7 hours. I want to thank all of you for the good job, for the analysis, contribution, new information. This is not a battlefield. There is one thing that I learned, peace. When I went to look for peace for my country in northern Uganda, in the Garamba Park and in South Sudan, I learned one thing: never to get annoyed. Because there are certain things in a peace process that annoy you. And I learned from there. I am here today. I stomached all the insults from those who did not want the war to end, plus from those who were not on the table, and those who were not negotiating and who were not given responsibility to negotiate. But finally, I was able to bring peace in my country. Northern Uganda today is peaceful. Our agreements are sold. They were solidified. The government of Uganda used those agreements to implement most of the things that we talked about. And you hear of something like a Mataput, which I brought up in South Sudan, which is equivalent to Kachacha courts. I hear it taking place everywhere in Uganda. Reparations, restitution. My healing, I've healed. Our healing has taught me a lesson. I've healed. I don't carry any anger back to my house. And I want to thank you all who have come on this platform, not to carry anger. Brother Bijo, Brother Bijo Lendo, please mute your phone. I just want to ask you not to carry the anger home. Let's all the time, every Monday at 9:15, be here to discuss a new topic. Next week, we shall be looking at Sudan. What is happening in Sudan is interesting, is very dangerous. Another country is going into Balkanization.
So I just want to say, Dr. Dr. David, you should apologize for Congolese saying like Congolese they cannot complete anything. Congolese always blame the problem to other people. So I didn't like it the part when you said that you hide you have to hide three Congolese people in your job, but they couldn't do this, do this. This is so insulting. I mean, no Congolese should accept that. I will just say, humbly, if you can apologize for that. Thank you.
I will not apologize because I have hired them before we worked. They put me in trouble because they ended up blaming me, and the general manager, the Muzungu, came blaming me. So I have personal experience, sir. And here you have seen Mr. Biased, unbiased. He came here, said he's unbiased, but he quickly associated me with Rwanda, and they said I'm a Rwandese. I support M23. In Congo, in Ngoma, the president of Tshisekedi has said Kenyans are supporting M23. They should get out. So, under that context, sir, is when I said there's always complaint everywhere or apportioning blame. But not all Congolese do it. No, there are few Congolese who do it. That is now a better statement. Is that okay?
I mean, yeah, that could be okay, but
yes,
as a
that
leader
is
in
from
my
my personal
community,
experience, and
I
therefore
I
I'm
help
closing down.
a lot of African. Some people have like a slow learning. Some people can fail and then blame you. That's normal.
Yes.
But now saying like that, don't label all country like close to 100 million people telling that they cannot complete anything. They are this. No, this is so insulting.
No,
You have
I
a
have said
PhD. You know that
the
some
three
people have like a
gentlemen,
slow learning.
the three gentlemen, their names, and they are still in London.
It's the
And they haven't
same
given
same thing like me here. I'm leader in my community. I mean African community. I help a lot of people. So yes, some people has like a slow learning. It's hard to understand something, but
okay.
label all
Thank you very
countries.
much for
Just be humble. Say sorry.
I have said from the experience of what Tshisekedi has done to the Kenyan troops, I am not happy, and therefore I'll leave it up to them because it is
Thank
not
you.
going to help. It is not going to help Congo. It's not going to help those civilians. Okay, it's not going to help those civilians. No, the civilians will suffer more. There will be more killings when the Kenyan troops leave DRC Congo. The DRC army has no capability to safeguard those civilians in Ngoma. So if that is wrong, let God help. We are here. We shall see. First is just 1 week from now or 2 weeks when the Kenyan troops leave. We shall come back here and do another platform. But I'm telling you, you will tell me that I told you. Thank you very much. So thank you
Whatever it's
very
gonna
much. I
take.
don't want any more discussion, please. I am tired. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, all of you, for having been on my platform and for having enjoyed all these massive hours. Those who have gained something out of it have gained, and those who don't want to gain is up to them. I have no problem at all. I have done my best to make sure that everything goes well. I have controlled and steered the ship very properly up to the end. I want to thank you very much, all of you, those who follow me, especially people like all of them who are here, those who follow me every day. I want to thank you very much for that. I want to thank you for having listened to all. Joy Rose from America, all of you. I can see you from New York. I can see senior diplomats here. I think you have picked up something. Is Balkanization the hidden agenda that fails peace in DRC? I told you that at the end of the show, I will say my answer. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you have talked, but you failed to touch something. Why is the war there? Why is the war there? The war is there because people want to achieve certain aims. They want to achieve something. What is that something they want to achieve? If the Congolese government is telling them you are not Congolese, the rebels are saying we are Congolese. Whichever side wins will have an achievement and will have achieved the agenda. If the rebels achieve the agenda by settling into Congo, of which the government of Congo, from the discussion that we have picked here today, has said they are not Congolese and they cannot discuss with rebels, then there will be an agenda. What is the agenda? Wherever they will settle down, when the guns settle down, not today, not tomorrow, and I want to tell you, it might not be today, but there will be Balkanization one day. Those who are going there to liberate the army, to do away with the army that is causing trouble, like Uganda. Rwanda is going there for Interahamwe. Uganda is building roads in Eastern Congo in order to have access, to give the people of Eastern Congo access to their markets, to their produce. These are things that are happening as we speak now. Surely you cannot be digging roads when you don't have an agenda. An agenda is to go and make sure that that area is peaceful, accessible, it sells its goods. So when Uganda is building roads in Eastern Congo to access areas, towns of Chisangani and so many other places, which has not been done by the DRC Congo itself, and you tell me that that is not an agenda, then I must have read wrong books. But it might not be Balkanization, but it is an agenda that once it is not brought in the open, people might mistake it to be a hidden agenda of a goal to take their territory. And that's why the confusion is there in that country. Whenever Uganda goes in, they say they have come, they better leave. That's why now Kenya has been told to leave, because they have seen Kenya siding, saying Kenya is siding with the rebels, which is not true. Kenya went there not to side with the rebels. The agreements which I've seen now don't say so. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you, that whether it happens or it doesn't happen, still remember who funds these activities, who's funding these rebels, 251 rebel groups. Who funds them? Is there administration in their areas? If you call that not Balkanization by the state balkanizing certain areas because it is not giving them governance structures have collapsed, then I don't know what it means. But I ask all of you to go to your dictionaries and find out what the word Balkanization means. Then when we meet in the next phase on Monday next week, ladies and gentlemen, we shall discuss, pick it from there. Always tag each other. All of you, I've seen some of you, I've followed you, you have not followed me back. So you'll miss quite a lot of discussions of this nature. As I said, next week, we shall be discussing Sudan and see how far the peace process has gone, because that's another country that is coming down, being divided by forces, both internal, both African and external, and the Gulf states. So our Sudan, the cradle of Africa, of where civilization started, is falling apart. So next week is Sudan. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God bless my co-host and all of you who have endured, who have remained here, a big number. Thank you very much. Until we meet next Monday. Bye.